Do you have time for us? Yes. Blah, 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 blah. You're absolutely incredible. Everyone will tell you that. Incorrigible, not incredible. Perhaps. Now, what is it you want? Some bit of gossip about my now former handmaidings? A story about old Peter the Grey? Unpleasant past. Your father says he doesn't like your suitor Navan because he keeps bringing up painful memories about the keep when he asks about the family legends. The death of your mother, the fire that burned the keep down. Yes, you see, family legends, all this thing about the curse and all that. It isn't fair to hold that against Navan. He's interested in our family, in me, and so naturally he asks questions about the keep. I'm just going to adjust the microphone. Wouldn't you be interested in the history of someone you wish to marry? Wouldn't you want... But you don't want to marry him because you're always out drinking with commoners, you damn slut. Wouldn't you want to know about them as well as you know your own family? It's not so much the death of my mother that bothers father, though, as does Neville's death all those years ago. Neville was her brother, if you remember, but father insists on clinging to a silly coincidence. Coincidence? What's a coincidence? Navan's last name is Dusando. It's the same last name as the man who constructed father's wine cellar, the one that collapsed. Father's holding it against him that he happens to have the same last name. It's so ridiculous. Neville. Oh, we seem to have got more topics of conversation now than we had before. I don't remember much about how Neville died. It was such a long time ago. You couldn't have known much about it so far off in Tyburn. Mother and father were both in such grief. They didn't want a spectacle made of his death. Neville was down in Cavill Run. That's where we've just been, isn't it? Sure, we've just been down. Yeah, that's the name of those. Yeah, Neville was down in Cavill Run. Is that the ruins of Cavill Keep then? Sent down by father to get a keg of Quedgine sour from his wine cellar. We had guests that day. Cavill Run? You remember, underneath the keep? Yeah, so that must behind the water. Oh, that must be a secret way into the area underneath what's left of the keep. All those tunnels that seem to stretch for miles. We never did know for sure how extensive it was. I don't know what you're a bit late telling me about it now. I've just been there. I used to love to take walks down there in the dark just to think and have some time to myself. It's one of the things I miss most about the keep, not having the tunnels to play in anymore. So is that why you play with commoners now instead? When Neville didn't come back from getting the keg, father went down into the run after him. The wine was served, then the appetisers, then the first course. Still father hadn't come back. The second course was served, the third, and then finally father... How many courses do you have? And then finally father appeared. He told us the tunnel had collapsed and Neville was trapped behind it all. We were never able to dig it out enough to recover the body. So in fact, how do you know he's dead then? Family legends. Your father said Navan kept at you about the family legends. He was fascinated by anything that had to do with the Corvallis family. He would ask where the spyglass had come from. The spyglass, yeah, all goes back to that bloody spider and spyglass. He would ask where the spyglass had come from and how long the keep had been standing and where the Guarda Revanche went to. This is the cursed blade we just read about in the book. We talked about everything. Sword. Yes. What does the Guarda Revanche have to do with our family history? I thought it was some kind of legend about the days when only the elves lived here. You should have told me about this before I went down there, you know. The part of the legend that everybody knows about has to do with elves. I thought you had. I don't know. But for a time the Guarda Revanche was in our family's possession, or so family legend has it. Upon her 14th birthday, the Lady of Caval Keep was given a special present by her elven servant to give her husband Lord Corvallis, a sword that would make him great among men. Whereupon she ran to his bedchamber, she was only 14-year-old, to present him with a great gift. But upon opening the door she was shaken by a great evil. Within her hand the sword blade began to glow, and she screamed as she raised the blade over her head and cleaved her husband's head from off his shoulders. Oh dear. From there she went from one child's chamber to the next until she had slain all her children. She's got children and she's 14 years old. Good God, what sort of country is this? And once that was done she ran mad and was seen in Caval no more. How charming. You don't have it laying about somewhere, do you? Well, we know where it is actually, because we got told it's in a chest somewhere, didn't we? It's in the book, we can look it up. Be nice to me or I may give the sword to you. No, the legend goes on to say that it was eventually removed from the family after the episode was repeated by later generations of other branches of our family. A book I have about it tells where it went, but I lent the book to Navan so he could look it over. Oh, Navan. Why was the book, I presume it's the same book, why is the book that you've been given turning up in the Nighthawk stronghold then, eh? That's weird. I thought the Guard of Revenge was only supposed to work on Moradol. It's a legend. No one ever said that a legend had to be consistent. So, do you see where this is going? Naven's turning out to be a little bit suspicious. As nice as it's been talking to you again, we have to be on our way. Things to do. Well, as it happens, I have a few things to do as well. I have to dust all the flowers so the bees don't sneeze. Nothing worse than sneezing bees. Then I have to rebuild the keep with twigs. Goodbye, you silly goose. Take care of yourself and make sure you get in before dark. I don't like the idea of you wandering around out here alone. She won't be alone. She will not be alone. Not her. Okay, so, yeah, we better go and have a word with Naven then. Because she lent him a book about it, and then that book turns up in that place we've just been to. All very, isn't it? Well, let's save it after that, and then we'll go north to Kenting Rush and see what he's got to say. Well, I say we'll go to Kenting Rush. I can't quite remember the way at the moment. Is it north? Can we go north? Is it this north, or is it a different north along a different path? Hello, useless shop that won't buy anything we've got. I wonder if our stuff's still there as well. All that stuff we left in bags. I mean, we still haven't got enough room for it now anyway, so it doesn't really matter. We're just going to have to leave it. And but it's a shame. Because we've got hardly any money. Which means if we come to another hard section again, we're not going to be able to afford to buy any herbs. Hello. Kenting Rush. Right. I think we're at Kent. Yes, there's our bag. Okay, we need to find Naven, but before we do that, I'm saving it. Who knows what could happen?